All right.
But sometimes you get upset, you know? I get it. We're all human. We're all Hooman.
Hey. Shameless plug.
Damn, we should have done that. We should have done that through the whole thing since we don't have the sound cord.
Welcome back to the #1 Drift Podcast on YouTube. I'm Dawson.
I'm Nathan.
I'm Hooman.
All right, let's get into it. If you don't know who Hooman is, he is a pro spec driver, but I'm going to go through some announcements real quick. If you don't know, grab the merch. I'll leave the link in the description. Actually, that's really all I want to say. You want to say anything?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, cool. Well, we'll jump into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, I guess tell them. We know a little bit.
Them?
Yeah. Pick your poison.
I don't know. I'm a Formula Drift Pro Spec driver. I drive a 370Z. It's a Garrett Turbo LSX platform. Been drifting for over a decade now. I've been in Pro Spec for, I think next year will be my 6th or 7th year. I can't remember anymore. I'm not good at just naming like random facts about myself, but
that's fair.
Yeah. That's a quick summary.
Oh yeah.
Hold
on, real quick. Do you mind? The microphone just a little bit closer.
It's weird when we travel. We always get caught up. So always try and keep the microphone.
Yeah, it'll move all over.
Yeah,
so you're good.
About this far from your face.
Perfect. That works.
And talk into it.
Do I drink on it? Like
you can.
Yeah,
you can do whatever you want. I thought that was him.
You don't have the headphones on.
Okay. All right. So is your car actually an LSX block or what is it?
No. I just say LSX like it's LS3.
I see. I do the same thing.
Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't mean like
LS3?
the LSX brand,
That's
block.
that's what I want.
Yes.
That's like the mecca for me.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
No, it's just LS3 block and then everything else is changed out.
So is it like AFR heads or BTR?
The heads are actually just the 423 heads?
243.
243.
Yeah.
243 heads with like BTR valve train and stuff like that, but very basic. I can go get like a junkyard head and swap over springs and valves and I'm good.
How much
Lego
power?
motors.
How much power does it make?
It's tuned at 850 at 15 PSI. So,
but you can ramp up from there probably?
I could. My tuner, literally Forrest, like when he tuned it, he was like, so what horsepower do you want? And I'm like, I don't really want more than 850. He's like, oh, okay, because I'm already there and I'm only at 15 PSI. So like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, just cap it there. Like we're good. Like we don't.
Where's your tuner from?
He's in Memphis. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not far.
So, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So is it a winner's car? Does it got a winner's quick change?
Now it
in
does, yeah.
Really?
It didn't originally, but as of 2 years ago or 2 seasons. This is my 2nd season.
Was that pretty difficult to install?
Jonathan put it in when season 1 ended, so he did it because he did his and mine, so I didn't install it myself. He said it was a little bit of a pain, but I don't think it was like because of winter stuff. I think it was more like what we had installed and like our radiator was like closed and that sort of stuff.
Sure.
Like it was just like because we did it after the fact and not like pre-planned.
So yours is rear mount radiator then, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rear mount game.
Yeah. I think everyone.
Your 350 was rear mount too, wasn't it?
It became rear mount. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
so my first season of FD was front mount, and then we switched it in the 2nd season. So average fab, the Clarksville boys.
I have one more question, and then
forever.
Is it a pain to bleed your radiator system after you did rear mount? Did it ever give you problems? Because I did rear mount on my car, but I built it in a garage.
Yeah. So on the 350Z, I constantly had like bleeding issues, learning some things and setting up differently when I switched to a kind of little different swirl and pathing of lines. I don't really have like
no issues now.
It takes a little more time than a front mount would.
Sure, yeah.
But if you follow like the steps and the way that I have it set up, like it's pretty much it bleeds and then we drive it hot and then we'll, crack it. We don't even really like bleed it. We just like bleed it and then fill it up and then drive it and then open up the cap, fill some more. Like it just like tops off. And as long as you follow the steps.
So it's water pump, swirl pot, radiator.
So we have a front like steam vent swirl pot thing from Fuel Racing, like a little like cap up front that's a dead cap, or a higher pressure cap we use, and then that all goes to the heater hose stuff, and then we have 2 lines going back to the rear to the radiator and to a swirl pot. So it goes through the swirl pot to the radiator, So we fill it in through the swirl pot in the rear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine is way more simple than that, and my steam port vents on top of the water. I drilled the water.
Yeah,
pump
a lot
out.
of people do that.
So
we just use the steam vent.
I would probably rather do that. I just
Yeah.
it was what I had at the time. I had a drill and shit, so I was like, oh, fuck it.
No,
Let's
it
just
was
put
like we were considering doing that, but once we kind of got everything set up, honestly, like it's been good in terms of bleeding. Every now and then, like the front steam vent like will be a little low, and we'll just top it off, like that sort of thing. We'll just close the back cap, front cap, top it off, close the back cap. Keep the pressures right. But generally speaking, like it works. Our biggest difference that we actually learned in Utah. I didn't have like really good shrouding on the 370Z. I had pretty good on the 350Z. 370Z, like we never really needed it until we got to Utah, and we started seeing like the way Utah set up is you drift and then you drive like I want to say it's at least a mile to get back to grid after your run.
The cool down lap is a mile.
I think it's roughly that. Like it's a long way, right? So you're just like zzz, like just zooming through. Like I mean, you're not going that fast,
right.
But like what we were seeing is like my cool down laps, I was getting hot, and we're like, shit, like what do we do? So we started like checking everything we could. We found the radiator was just full of dirt, like not dirt, tire dust, like rubber that melted and got stuck. So we pulled it, we pressure washed it, did all this stuff. We did some passes just like off grid, like between just to see. Once like the first practice session was done, like we did it overnight, and we were like, oh no, it didn't really fix the problem. We did everything we could that we saw that was like causing an issue. We're like, the only thing left is to shroud it. I literally shrouded it, or we shrouded it overnight. My team killed it. Like we went and got oil drip pans from like the hardware store and like foam, like inserts and stuff that everything you got at the Home Depot. They like tin snipped this thing, put it together. We like built this awesome shroud. And if you look at it, you'd be like, that's like a good ass shroud. That's a nice shroud. And it went from like, we would get to 220 after one lap, and like it would not, like basically I'd have to like not go and wait to, because in part it like parked at Utah, we were getting like 180, 160, whatever.
I have to tell you a story after this, and then I swear we'll move on. I'm so sorry.
Too much subject on this. But anyway, so we did that, and then after like that, we would do one lap, like we would at 180, and solid, like it would cool down through the lap, like do what it was supposed to do. So like shrouding, very important in a rear mount radiator setup. Like you have to shroud.
Okay, so I'm going to tell this really quick story, and then we go. I'm so sorry. This is really important for people that are going to do rear mount. He's right. Shrouding is super important. And the way that I learned this lesson is I cut a C into my trunk, and then I heated it and I bent it down, and then I put a piece that comes off the radiator and comes up and scoops air off the back window. Dude, no body panels on the car, fucking mint. Right? Never gets hot, runs 160 if I'm beating on it or not, right? Okay, so then I put all the body panels back on the car, okay? The trunk part has a shrouding already on it with foam and stuff. It's already, that part works fine. So then the last piece that I ordered for my car was a roof spoiler. And like, dude, I'm a fucking salesman. I'm not an engineer. And so I'm like, dude, it would look really cool? A duckbill on my roof. So I put the duckbill on my roof. I go out, and dude, the faster I would drive, the hotter it would get. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? I just fixed you, you know? So dude, I get back to the house, I tied some string up, or taped some string up around the car, and I started driving around, and I put a GoPro back there, and I noticed that like around 55, 60 miles an hour, these strings would start going everywhere. And I was like, dude, that spoiler is causing dirty air. So I took the spoiler off, right back down to 160. So it's really, he's right. It's really important.
Crazy just how much that changes.
It's crazy, dude. I was like, I'm basically an engineer now, Like,
your 350 had louvers on the back in reverse,
I have it on both.
wasn't it?
I reverse louvers on both of them. So, but that really doesn't do anything. Like louvers, no louvers, it does nothing.
Okay, I wanted to ask that because it doesn't look like it does.
In Utah, we were like, Maybe
these
louvers are just causing a problem because they're like maybe it's just like blocking the airflow more than it's doing. So like drill the louvers out because they were like riveted in. We're like drill it out. We'll do some tests. It's like it
made no difference.
Not even 1 degree. Like it was like on or not. So we just put them back because it looks better with them on.
Yeah.
And then we like it's like okay, shroud like instantly fixed our problem. Like all right, the cleaning the radiator did help by like I want to say
degrees.
instead of going to like
Maybe like
220
20%.
after one lap, it'd be like 210. But if you just kept cruising, it would climb. Like that was basically what we were trying to decide is how to get it to lower temps while cruising, not going hard, just fourth gear, like, 2000 RPM driving. How do you make it not get hot? And we were just, everything we were doing was getting hot doing that. We're like, okay, well then we definitely can't like drift on it,
So you guys know that I'm learning. I have to go home and spray my radiator out because I never even cleaned it. I took it off the front and I mounted it in the back in the same day. I never even cleaned it. So
yeah.
I need
So
to go,
apparently, so I was talking to,
I'm an idiot.
I was talking to my
Stupid.
radiator company at SEMA, and they're like, you can get the same stuff that people put on dirt track. And you put
like the Peterbilt looking mask type thing.
They're like, I forgot what it's called. He told me I haven't
I know what you're talking about,
researched
though.
it yet, but he was like, you can get those, and that's what a lot of drifters are doing. They're having that problem is that you just do like tear offs, or I think you can clean it or something. I don't know the exact, but he's like, that's what you need to do, because he said, really, you can't like clean it. It's like once it's in there, there's not like a real solution to get it out other than like you can pressure wash it, but then you risk like bending fins, and then that's a lot of work. So he's like, because we like literally, I think we spent over an hour pressure washing it, and at the end of that hour, it was still like we probably had a pound of rubber that came out.
Shit.
But even after that, we still saw it was not clean water coming out. Like we were just spraying forever. And like, no matter what we sprayed, you could still see inside the fins, there was still rubber. But again, like that car is very open, and like the everything gets back there. So if you have like a little more concealed setup, you might not get as much tire dust back there. But my car, like everything in the back just gets full of black pieces.
You'd have to see the edges that come down and meet mine. I think it's pretty protected, but it's not perfect. So I bet it would get stuff back there.
Like, do you get like is your floor where the radiator sits on like full of rubber dust, or is it clean?
There's no floor. It's just floating back there.
Anything back there? Is there like, is it like because mine's white, it's so obvious. Like you see it and you're like, why is it black?
Oh, no, mine's all black, so it's just like, it doesn't seem like
looks clean.
This is perfect. Let's go
so shiny. What happened?
No, so all right, so that's a good topic. I'm glad that we covered that because I learned something. All right, perfect. So
When did you swap from the 350 to the 370?
and what was the advantage?
Was the pandemic?
So right during the first season so that was 2020 was my first season in the car.
Oh, okay.
Was the swap just because you wanted a different chassis and the other one was beat, or was there like a tactical reason?
Jonathan convinced me to swap.
Yes.
So it was a teammate thing that basically
I love that
we
guy.
were talking about teaming up, and he's like, it would make more sense if we had the same car. And I'm like, I don't want a G. And he's like, well, you could just get a 370. All the parts are the same minus the drive shaft. So we started talking, and we came to an agreement, and like we said, okay, we're going to do that. And that's why we teamed up, because we had same engine, same turbo, same.
So you could share stuff.
Literally, like everything was the same.
It's very rare that you'd both have the same problem at the same event.
Well, but like, so when we bought like spare wise fab, spare everything. We only needed one,
Yeah.
'cause odds are. And then also like we had a couple rear ends that like we didn't have quick changes. So now we had, a couple rear ends that we could swap around and do. So it was like a good move. And then, ended up, the car's better. I mean,
definitely.
Like, I was just curious.
The rear
obviously it's better.
The rear tubing setup that you did back there, whenever I saw you building it, is that normal for the bars to have a little bit of give where that joint is?
Some people do stuff like that. Some people don't. A lot of like teams are doing something where they're on a hinge or something like that. There's like specific ways you can do it and specific ways you can't. Gotcha. So like you gotta keep it within the rules. Some people just put a fixed thing, but
that's like, what I did. I just did a U.
I think the way it's set up now, like it's one of them's bashed in, and that's the only damage I have. So I don't know, like what I hit. Like I think that was pretty sure it was Corey Alaska at Utah that bashed it in, and I don't think his car had like any
damage.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I lost the bumper.
So your like tag phrase on social media is "I am only Hooman."
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Was that a self thing, or did someone come up with that?
I don't remember who said it or who did it, but in MDU days, like before, like any, like, I didn't really care about social media. I was just going to drive. Someone was like, "Oh, you're Hooman. Like, I'm only Hooman. Like, that's funny." You know? I'm like,
People started recognizing you just by the
and then that
catchphrase.
just kind of like became the thing.
Yeah,
so.
the first time I saw that on Facebook was, or not the first time I saw. Not the first time I saw you, but the first time I saw that was I posted that picture, and it was like, you know, I posted it like being funny. I was like, you know, real men put their turbos out the hood, you know?
Yeah,
it was that picture that somebody took of both our cars. And then I saw your name pop up, and I was like, who the fuck? Oh, that's Hooman, dude. I was like so pumped, you know? Because, So, I thought that was cool. That was a cool.
Where did the logo come from? The little character.
Going into FD, I was like, I need to have something of a livery, and I couldn't think of anything. I was literally like, I don't know what I was gonna do, like whatever. And I was like, all right, what if I have like a little character or something with my name, like something that can be recognizable, that brands me as a driver and gives something, because like everyone's like puts like, I see people put big numbers everywhere. I'm like, what does numbers mean? Like,
it's so simple, so that's why. But it's something that you remember very easily.
Just sketch something, and I was like, what if I did something like this? And then I sketched it, and then like it's like something I've been drawing since I was a kid. Like I think everyone's been drawing something like that since they're a kid, right? Yeah. So it's like that's how I've been drawing it since I was like a little kid. That's how I drew those kind of smileys. And I just showed like some friends and stuff. I was like, what if I do something like this, but like, you know, get it? They're like, no, just use that. That's awesome. I'm like, what? So I used that, simple, and then that was a simple smiley. And then when we redid the livery for the 370, the guy that did the livery, he ended up making like a character out of it. So that's like my smiley on the character's face.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So.
Hell yeah.
So I have two questions. So one, the color change. Is there any significance to the color change, or you just were ready for something new?
This year?
Yeah.
Like the pink and blue?
Yeah.
I wanted bright. Like I liked, like I've been seeing a lot of the same liveries, and like I've always loved red and black. Like red and black looks so good. Like
it looks cool. It looks
like
very cool.
The red and blue I had the year before, it looked good, but red and black, just simple colors. Like when I had the 350Z on just like no livery, red with black wheels and black like lip, and
see, he likes black wheels.
It was chrome. It was chrome black.
Suck.
So it was a little different, but it was not chrome black. It was
whatever. Fuck y'all.
I don't hate black wheels. Like it looks good.
I'm kidding. Everybody gives me shit because I have black wheels.
Red and black has always been like a color scheme that I've loved as a kid. Like I remember growing up, like I would do presentations with red and black. Like it was just like black on red looks good. Going into, you know, the blue and red that we did, that was just kind of like some ideas that came and they stuck. I was like, cool. I'm not against it. Then we came into this year. I was like, man, I really just want a bright car. Like I want a car that like when you look at it, you're like, wow, that's cool. Like I just wanted some bright colors. So Louis at AZ Rag like came up with some designs and like colors. And as soon as he sent one with plaid on it, I'm like, those are the colors. Like that's it. Like without question. And then we kept doing like a couple back and forths. Eventually came up with the design we came up with, and that's it. I mean,
it looks pretty. It looks good. I was just curious.
Yeah, he killed it. Like it was all him.
So so this is like, it has nothing to do with that. That was like my personal question. So the actual podcast question is, if it's okay, how much does it cost to run a pro spec season? Like,
I know it's
a generalization, but
no, I mean, so the question really has to start, like you have to ask the question in the right way. So what is your question? Is it, how much does it cost at a round? Is it, how much does it cost to build a car that's legal? How much does it cost to pay someone to build a car that's legal? How much does it cost?
I'd say the car one. People probably want to know about the car. They want to know what's it cost to build a pro car.
So was it cost
a competitive
if you were going to buy every part and pay someone to put it all together and all of the above? Like you literally are not going to do anything. You're just going to show up and drive and like pay someone. I think a minimum, if you're getting it done, again, what kind of shop is building it? Sure. And how much are you involved, right? I would say the bare minimum would be like $75K, but the realistic would be like 150.
I believe it.
And I would say, depending on how good of that, you could go more than that. But like, it's just like, you got to think about like, okay, how much are the parts just core? You know, like add up all the parts, you're probably easily in 50K in parts. And then you have like fab, labor, all that other stuff. So I think it just depends how you look at it, and then what you got to contribute some to, like someone's. Oh man, I ruined the podcast.
Fine.
Turn it off.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
you got to contribute some to, like, there's different skill levels. Like if RTR is going to build a car, they're not going to charge you $150K. It'll be a lot more, right?
Well, fuck yeah.
But they're RTR,
right?
And they're going to do the design of RTR. So like that comes into play a little bit of, paying someone to do it. You could be, I don't know, $300,000 if the right person is putting the right stuff together. But you can do all that stuff a lot cheaper if you're in FD at a pro spec or higher level with the right partners. So that's like the,
that's the balance.
It's not
a loaded question.
Like,
we were just
I
curious.
didn't spend that much money, right? But if I were to need to just build a car outright,
that's what it would cost.
It would probably cost like in that realm. So, but that's just the car. Then add the season, that's another lot of money.
Yeah. Well, actually, once you get your license, though, do you still got to pay for the entire season, like directly to FD?
The cost that is expensive, like, I mean, we can go through the cost, like if you really want to know, like it's not like nothing's a secret.
Well, some people are just worried about, other people knowing their business. That's the reason I ask it that way. If you want to tell people, that's fine.
I can tell people, like, the reality is prospect costs, the cost per tire is $130, period.
You're talking
we get 2 laps.
Talking to the mic.
We get 2 laps a tire, right? Like 2 laps per 2 tires. So every 2 laps costs.
What tires do you run?
GT radial.
Okay.
Like everyone in prospect runs a GT radial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those tires are $130. Like per the rule book, you go on the rule book. It's in the rule book. Yeah. Like it's public.
Did that
knowledge.
suck when that got changed?
I know that. It's for them. I was just asking questions on their behalf. Sorry.
I mean, I go into that. Like it's a different. Like I love GT radials. They're a good tire. Being kind of stuck into a price point, kind of limits our ability to like, we're paying a lot more than we used to. But also everyone's paying a lot more for tires. So we don't,
for everything.
We don't know, like I can't say it's because
I feel like it levels the playing field almost in a sense.
I like that everyone has to be on the same tire and the same size. But
I didn't mean to branch off from that.
No, it's all good.
It restricts you in your ability to like get better deals. But at the same time, were there really that many deals for us to begin with?
Right. And it keeps Ombre over there, from doing the same thing.
My first season of FD, I went in not knowing what tire I would be able to get. And I only found out, like I finally got onto Achilles like a week or 2, not even, maybe more, but like very short period right before the event.
You were like stressed.
I was like, I don't know what I'm going to show up in Kenda's. Like, I don't know. Like, I legit, like, I mean, I don't think I could have showed up in Kenda's back then. Like, I think I was going to show up in whatever tire was legal, because you couldn't buy the Achilles, what are they called? I'm blanking. The 123, yes.
Yeah, 123.
You could not buy those. Like you could if you knew a certain source, but it's not like you go on,
Simple Tire and order them.
Tire Stacks or whatever, and they exist. They don't exist.
Right.
Right now, like no one can really buy the GT radial tires unless you're in that program, because they're still like working out quantities. Like they don't have enough quantities. That's crazy. But you can buy like a version of it, like another version of it. But
like a 200 treadwear type thing.
It's like the it's 300. The same. It's the I think it's the same thing, but no RS on it. So it's like the Chimpiro.
It's more of a street version.
Yeah, it's still I think a like solid tire, but I think ours is a little bit more stickier or something like that. I don't have experience on both, so
I'm probably I can't tell you if I try to do that.
Yeah, but so I went in that first season not knowing, and I was like, I can't afford to pay $250 a tire, because that's how much 123s were like, selling for the Falcons. You could get the 615s, whatever, which they're really expensive. And I was just like, I'm just gonna show up with what I have. I had no idea what I was getting into. Like when I started FD, I went in blinder than
just fucking going for it, huh?
I mean, literally.
I feel like you kind of have to, though.
That's awesome. I'll tell you the conversation I had with my buddy Forrest, my tuner. I called him up, was like, I got my license. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I should move on, because I was kind of debating, should I go or should I not? I kind of got pushed into going into it.
Who pushed you?
There was some drama. that
We love drama.
Yeah, I left Pro-Am because it made more sense for me to go to FD at the time.
Okay.
It's another long subject.
You ran East 10 though, right?
No.
What program did you run?
MDU.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, we went into FD. I called Forrest up. I'm like, I got my license. I don't really feel comfortable running, Pro-Am at that series anymore. What do you think? And he's like, do it, man. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, I'll go with you. I was like, so how many people? He's probably need more, but we'll figure it out. We'll just be me and you.
What's this guy's full name?
Forrest Luster.
Okay. Yeah. Plug that guy. He sounds like the GOAT.
Yeah, he's been like in the drift world for a long time. He's a really good tuner. He's actually like the rep for Link ECU for technical stuff. So
there you go.
If you guys need any Link ECU like assistance, he's the man, right?
Okay.
So I called him up and I was like, let's do it. He's like, do it. And I started registering, and then randomly, like Jake at one of these events was like, hey, who you got crewing for you? I'm like, it's me and Forrest. He's like, can I come? I'm like, okay. Jake Elliott?
Yeah, I fucking love that guy, man.
So basically it was then Jake Elliott. Then Jake Elliott was like, hey, Brad wants to come. I'm like, sure.
Wallace?
Yeah.
Damn.
So it was me, Jake, Forrest, and Brad. None of us.
Just
the only
fucking
person
winging
that
it.
knew anything about
Forrest.
anything was Forrest. And he was our spotter. And like we just
awesome.
figured it out. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I
fuck
just
yeah.
learned, and then we just made friends. Like literally, I broke my axles 1 week before the event in the parking lot testing the car. Both sides broke at the hubs, and I'm like, God, shit,
Fuck.
So we had them like sent to Florida because the first round was in Orlando, and we had I think I sent it to Steven Purcell. I can't remember. Someone down in Florida. I shipped it to their house, and then I had Naren pick it up because he was already down there for some Daytona Beach thing. And then we met him in the middle of the night in a parking lot and picked up the axles, drove him to Orlando. I swear to God, like this is the only way
Dude,
we were
that's
making round
awesome.
one. So then we ended up, we got these axles, we're putting it in the parking lot in the middle of the night, and we have like, this is, before my Harbor Freight sponsorship. So like I had like a little like Craftsman, like
you got the wrenches
toolbox, and like that's it, like a jack, and like we were just like, all right. And then we're getting there and we're like, okay, we got to change the axles. So first we passed tech, we get through tech, and it was running the stock axles, but they weren't going to last. So we're like, we got to put the original ones in. So we're doing this, and it just takes us way longer than it should. We ended up like, while we're doing it in the air, I think it's when I met Rome and Rob Carlson. So Rob Carlson and Rome Charpentier I'm sure I said that wrong. He was crewing for Rob at the time, and he was looking at my car, and he's like, you know why you broke your axles? I'm like, I don't know. Like too much power, I guess. Achilles, like, because it was the first time I ran Achilles. It was like the first time I put like grippy tires on it. He's like, no, man, your axle angles are bad. And I'm like, what? What's axle angles? What are you talking about? He's like, so we ended up having to raise the car and do all this stuff to like get it to
where it was flat.
where it was flatter.
Crazy.
We couldn't get it like flat, but we got it like flat enough. He's like, that's why you broke your axles because we broke them at the hub side. So he's like, that's from that, like for sure. Like you're going to break them again. Because we broke two at once. I was like, I've never really snapped an axle before. And these were like, I had got drive shaft axles right before, like those were those are me testing the axles and the tires.
That's what he meant earlier. You were like, I have to put the original axles back in because you had drive shaft shop axles.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that popped.
Yes.
Okay.
So then I called them and I was like, this. Can you ship? And they're like, we can send it to you. But I'm like, but I'm leaving now. What are you like? I don't know what to do. Like, but we'll get there by Tuesday. I'm like, I'm leaving Tuesday. So they're like, well, we can ship it to Florida. Do you have someone there? And I'm like, I found out. Now I know you can ship to the track. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Sure.
But this is like learning. I had no idea you could ship stuff to the track. Like that's in our packets. Like, oh, if you need to ship something to the track, you just do this. Like, I'm like, hey, who lives in Florida that I can ship to? So I found someone. I did all that. So anyway, we did that.
A few
and
extra
then
steps you didn't need to.
Went through a full event. That was it. Like, that's the story.
How did it go? Was it horrible or was it okay?
I think we qualified 17th and it was a top 16. So we were like,
that's fucking good though for your first ride.
It was like 1 point. I don't remember exactly, but it was something like we barely didn't qualify and we were like, all right, cool. Well, let's just hang out, and then I think we hung out like the next day and then I think we left. I don't remember.
My car is not that low and I'm on year 3 of stock R200 and stock S13 diff.
Yeah.
Or axles. And it's seen as much as 17 or almost 18 pounds of boost before and has a broken axle. So I wonder if it's because I'm not one of those like,
you're turbo.
Yeah, I'm turbo LS.
So
it's a 6 liter. It ain't like fancy like
this
yours.
This was LS7, 550 wheel horsepower. There is a difference with a NA torque shock versus a turbo torque shock, and I think that's highly contributed to it. So
I had a 6 liter nitrous combo in it for a little while, and then I didn't run that for very long, but it never broke axles. It was always okay. But I've also always been one of those people where I'm like the low origin cars. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
dude, they are so cool looking. But it looks like so much maintenance. Like you're like having to constantly redo your wrap on the
It is, but that's what they live for.
I know. And I'm not, and listen, dude, there's going to be a bunch of people that are so mad about this. I'm not saying that those guys aren't like about that life because I'm sure they're way more about it than me. But I can't do that. So my car has always been like, I have wheel gaps so that if I drive it, I don't have to fucking like take my bumper off to go to Taco Bell, And so like, I don't know. I think that's part of the reason that my diff is still alive because it's season 3 and I don't like exactly take it easy on my car.
Well,
like, every time I get in my car, I'm like trying to hurt it,
Yeah,
my car's not that low either in the rear. I know I talk about being low and stuff. I don't talk about being low, but like, yeah, in the rear, it's pretty straight. And I always see people, even on a stock Form Z, they still snap axles like a motherfucker. I've never snapped an axle. Dude, and I have one that leaks. And it still hasn't snapped. It's been leaking for 2 years.
I got electric tape on some.
Yeah, same here.
Same here. Fuck it.
Fuck it. Dude, you know how we did it on the right side one? I just had my brother turn the car on and I just held the tape.
Yeah, there you go. Until the whole roll's gone and you're like, then it's perfect.
There it is.
It will never.
Put some extra goop in there.
So,
all right. So what's it like being on the team with Jonathan Cash? What's that like? Is he like, I almost feel like you guys have a similar dynamic to me and Dawson. Like, I feel like you're kind of more like Dawson and I'm kind of more like Cash. Like, where I would drive my car home from an event, if all else failed, I would do it. Is he like that?
He's got true grit for sure. Yeah. Like, he's like he's going to get it done one way or other. The Jonathan lives on like the edge. Like his whole thing is like teeter-tottering on like, last minute, like getting stuff done because of budget and stuff like that, not because of like desire, right?
Yeah,
but he gets it done, and that's like awesome. Like it was really great working with him. I like
it takes a whole different breed to do shit like that.
Say what?
It takes a whole different breed to keep a mindset like that.
I mean, like he puts in the work and he makes it happen. I mean, everybody has like their different ways of making shit happen, and like he makes shit happen with hard work. Like that's his way of getting it done, and he pulls it together. And I mean, it was like, I really enjoyed working with him. I learned a lot. I probably wouldn't have ever built this car that I have now without him pushing me to do it. So that's
we've heard from a couple sources that he'll push you and poke you and stuff.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. He'll come to me like if I mess up on a run. He's like,
give you a hard time.
You suck. He's like, stop sucking. Like just stop. Like why are you doing this? Like just literally just drive. Like just press the gas. Do whatever. I'm like, do the thing. Fine.
Just to do the thing.
Yeah. He's like, which is funny because I used to push him like back when we were both in pro spec and stuff. Like before I built the 370, I'd be like, why'd you do that in your qualifying round? Like, what were you doing?
Yeah. Like, give him a hard time.
So, that's also.
Actually, I wanted to ask about the team stuff earlier. How you said you just barely scrambled together a team. Since then, do you think it's very like critical to have a full team to help you during the program?
Oh, for sure. Like if you don't have a team, can you get it done?
Yeah,
maybe. If you don't have any problems, like if everything goes smooth, sure. But when things happen and you don't have a solid team behind you, like you're you're stuck. Like it's just, it is what it is. So
can't get very far.
Yeah. Like if you have a solid team, and I've been lucky like to fall into a like solid team that, you know, dedicates a lot of their time to me, which I'm super grateful for. Like that is amazing. Like having that is paramount to being successful, because inevitably things are going to happen. Like there's no way you go to all these events and nothing breaks, nothing happens, like you don't crash. Like
of course not.
I guess it's possible, but it's unlikely. Like
no way.
It's possible, but I've not seen it. So it's really important. And then the other part too is like they kind of keep your head together. You know, being focused at the track is important. So like when it comes to things, like if you know they have your back, they're handling these things, then you get it done.
Gives you less stress to stuff to worry about. Like, you can focus on strictly driving.
Did they torque the wheel nuts? Like, did I check the oil? Like, you know, like all that stuff. Like I still think about it, but if you have like a solid team where you're not worried, like you need to go back.
Then it's just a quick question. Hey, is this checked?
Yeah,
cool, got it.
Yeah,
back to driving.
Did you check fuel? You know, like that's for
if someone was like just trying to scramble together a team to do their first season, like what would you say the most critical positions to have as far as team goes?
The critical position or critical qualities?
Attaboy. He's asking great questions.
That's good.
Yeah. So
let's go with tackle the position, then you can tackle the like what qualities.
Okay. I would say you need someone on grid that is hyper aware of what's going on. Like they need to be able. Yeah, I mean they need to know, like they need to like be aware, like, hey, the car's getting hot. Let me check these things. Like you need to have like some mechanical knowledge. Yeah. They don't have to be experts. They have to be someone that's not going to be lazy, that's going to like figure out whatever needs to get done. If they got to run to pits to grab a part because something broke, they're like ready to do it and want to do it, versus like, you know, somebody's just like, I don't want to do that. You know, I'm not getting paid enough for this. Like, like they get paid, you know, like, but you know what I'm saying? So that's one part. And then I'd say the qualities is really just like, do you guys like get along? Like, are you solid? Like,
can you get
like,
are they
your crew crybaby? Or are they like your buddies? Because if they're just like there because they're like your crew, long term, you're not going to be happy. Like, that's it. Because I mean, you're spending a lot of time. Like, you're spending 3 to 4 days the whole time with them. You know,
Would you say that's the hardest part of managing an FD? Program?
No, I've been lucky. Like that's been easy. Like that's been the easy part.
Well, which part do you say is more important? The
getting
like
along,
positions, or the team aspect of
what do you mean? Like positions or team, like same thing, right?
Like for the people that are just getting into drifting and they're working with minimal budget and stuff. Are you? I mean,
you say it's more just getting into drifting or getting into FD? Like it's totally different, right?
Well, let's say FD.
If you're getting into FD and you don't already have like a crew that came to you to Pro-Am or something like that, like finding somebody that's willing to do that, is it doable? I mean, everyone has different personality. Like, do you make friends easy? Like, are you like easy to get along with? Like, can you just walk up? Like, is someone going to come and be like, hey, can I crew for you without you asking? I don't know. Like that's
a personal thing.
Yeah. Like I think everybody, like some people are,
that's a good answer.
They're dicks. like they're not gonna, you know, like that's just what it is. Like,
what's your take on Taylor Hull? No, I'm kidding.
I like Taylor. I will say that.
Is he cool?
On public. He's a nice guy. I think he gets a lot of flack for stuff that is borderline, like where it's. We won't go into too much on it.
You don't have to.
But I'll just say, like, I think there's some stuff.
That was a joke. That was totally a joke. You don't even have to include that.
In the notes.
Because I'll just say, like, I've known Taylor a long time. Like, I drove in Pro-Am with him, so I known him for a long time. I've seen a lot of stuff, and sometimes, like, was everything done perfect? Maybe not, but there's a lot more to it. I think people look at it like on an internet scale and like, oh, I gotta bash somebody. And it's like, there's so much more to that story, or there's so much more to these things that happen. Like, and like we've had, like in my Turismo days, like there's shit happened with Taylor with Turismo that like I didn't love, but I'm still cool with them. You know, like it is what it is. Like there's more to it. Like people are human, and people, even if, let's say the worst case, it was deliberate or a mistake or whatever, what are they doing now? That's what I think is important. Like, what are you doing to move on? And
the
like,
aftermath.
Like, I hate this cancel culture. Like,
it's bullshit.
Us too.
And that's
why it was a joke. I was totally
so
kidding.
I had to say it, you know.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Say it as loud as you can.
Yeah.
I happen to
cancel culture
sucks.
That's a shirt. I'm making it.
Yeah.
Actually, we can do that too.
We have
Collab?
we have a cool shirt that says because we're like against anybody hating on someone else's build. Like, dude, I hate Stancy Pants' RX-8, the blue RX-8 that burnt fire one. I hate it, dude. I don't think the craftsmanship was good. It sucked. But
how did he weld aluminum to steel though?
With a stick welder.
Yeah, right.
And it looked like drunk with his eyes closed. That's what I'm saying.
How?
But I don't know, but I'm saying, like, when I saw that, I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, dude, I am not a fabricator. But when I saw that, I was like, holy shit. I'm basically a NASA engineer, you know? But I don't want to see anybody's car burned down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's what we're about. And so, like, all these people, dude, there's people that were blaming us for that, so you know.
What?
Yeah. They were like,
your video?
No, he's in like Oregon or something.
Yeah, fucking Oregon. But like,
They're like,
you
your
slighted
video,
someone enough,
your
you would fly to Oregon.
That's what I'm saying.
From what I know,
they were pissed.
you would go.
Dude, we would go to Oregon and interview him. He said he would go on.
Yeah.
So like all these people that are mad thinking that we don't like talk to him, like you don't have to agree with someone's build
for sure
to think that I don't want it to burn down. I don't ever want to see it.
I got on my 350Z like in Pro-Am. Like I don't know if you remember, like I had an ugly ass 350Z because I crashed it a lot and like it had Kroger stickers on it, like legit.
Fuck yeah.
Like,
I remember this.
I had a fender full of Kroger stickers. I had a wheel full of Kroger stickers.
Oh, that's perfect.
The next question is, what's your worst wreck? That's like, I'm not making that up.
Kroger stickers.
I'm not making that up.
But that's not my worst wreck. My worst wreck was definitely Irwindale.
Irwindale?
That was was my most expensive.
Can you run us through it in like 30 seconds or less?
What happened?
Yeah.
Oh, I entered at Irwindale and crashed.
Well,
so the big bank got you.
Yeah,
like everybody else.
I literally like first lap, first day. I literally went.
No, you're good. You're good.
No,
keep
keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So literally first lap, first hour, and this is like building up because last time I tried to go to Irwindale, I can't even say it.
It's hard.
The year before in the 370Z, I blew the motor. I ended up not going the last round because my motor blew the week before. I was scrambling to figure it out. I was like, I can't fix it.
That's the story Elliot told us, right?
Yeah. The year before, I had my 350Z or the year before Irwindale, because I don't think Irwindale was the last round the year before. Whatever last attempt to go to Irwindale was, my trailer broke down on the way and the axle broke. So I didn't end up being able to go. So we flew out. The car never made it.
Jake stayed and watched.
Yeah,
he told
me and Jake, we were like hung out, we stayed, we watched, and then we flew back. And so this was like my
you were like redemption,
and I didn't redeem myself. So I literally went in. I went in like entered really hot. I watched the video like from in car, which I haven't posted his day. It's like one of those things. Like I want to post it,
get it,
but like I went in and for some reason the front end just washed out. Like I didn't lift or anything. Like it just like pushed. I think I didn't get my front hot enough, probably. That's what I'm thinking, like really contributed the most.
Did you go back and look at the logs? Did it maybe pull power?
No, it was like nothing, like not, like it was, you could see it, like it was full power. Like, I mean, I felt it. And then that's why it was such a bad crash, because by the time I reacted, I had nowhere to go. I was just like,
you could do.
Fuck. And I hit the wall like pretty damn hard. So that was probably my worst wreck, because I mean, that was probably my most expensive lap in the history of my life, because that one lap cost me traveling from Nashville to LA and back in a trailer, having the whole team come out, buying a lot of random parts at the track, like trying to fix it, spending all this money. I think I spent over 10 grand to make that one lap easily.
Oh,
so yeah, that was fun. And then I had to fix the car after too.
Right, yeah.
So it was more than 20 grand. It was really like 20 grand for the one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know the full math on that.
So this kind of answers this question I had, but I'll ask it anyways. So the bank at Irwindale is this as insane as everybody says? intimidating,
It's not
all of
as
that.
crazy as Fairgrounds.
Really?
I think
That one looks really
'cause that's
steep.
freaking like gnarly. But I've only driven 2 laps at Irwindale because we did the like attempt at qualifying, and then the
Boost coupler
on the came off. So I
shared that.
Yeah, so we didn't we didn't make it.
I'm a fan, bitch.
But so I've only drove those 2 laps. It is long, and I've only driven like Fairgrounds like I want to say 4 or 5 laps because I was the promoter of Turismo, not the driver, so I didn't get to really drive. So I only drove it at like
I got to go to a
times.
few of those.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
are fucking awesome. I love those.
But that track, like, I think the difference is in the Fairgrounds, like, I think it's steeper.
It looks
but in
a lot
Irwindale,
steeper.
I think it's longer. So I think Irwindale is like not as steep, but it is steep. But I think it's like at the Fairgrounds, you're like this, and at Irwindale, you're like, a little, I don't know the exact facts. Like, it's all just on like
It's all on
memories
your head.
and
Of course, yeah. It's just everybody talks about how intimidating it is when you first see it and drive on it. So.
I always get the good ones. Which driver, or is there a driver that makes you like not nervous, but you're like, fuck, Like
chasing?
Yeah, chasing.
For me, it would be like if I was to draw you in the first round, I would be like, dude, fuck, I drew the fucking FD driver.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Like to battle. Like it's a hard battle.
Yeah.
Huh.
And do you like, okay, so.
Or even just like scared what they'll do in the lead position.
Oh, you mean like it might crash?
I don't know what they're going to do.
I don't know. I'm so positive. I'm just like, I don't know.
I don't want to say. I
don't want to say?
No. I don't want to say.
That's fair.
I don't think that's nice.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't want to say. Like, I don't. There are some drivers that you chase and you're like, I don't know what's going to happen here.
You know who you are.
Yeah, that's all that needs to be said.
Like, you go to these other events, like when I drive, like, because I like to drive, like, especially in off season, like you'll see in the last few events that once the season was done, I'm driving with everyone because like I'm like, if I crash, I'm not as worried about it. I'm still like, that kind of sucks, but like. There's some drivers I'm chasing. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I hope he stays
that's literally anywhere you'll go, though. Any event, whether it's FD or grassroots, you're always going to have those people.
Yeah.
He's going to tell us later. It's not on camera. All right. So.
We won't
see. I feel like he won't participate in this. All right. So, do you have a Matt Field story, or are you willing to tell a Matt Field story?
I think Jake told most of them.
That's what I figured.
I think those are the same stories. Like I'll just say they were pretty accurate. they're like, fairly like 99%. I'll tell you the one Matt Field story that I don't know what happened, but everyone should know this story because it was on the live stream that I don't understand what happened, but he was battling Zhao, or was it Zhao in St. Louis, and he like drove off when they were like lining up. Like, you know how like the battle's over and they're like, you win.
Yeah.
He like drove through the guy.
Just bounced.
Like in the middle of the battle. And I was doing the hang with a driver experience, explaining this to fans. And I was just like, I don't know what to say. Like,
what just happened?
Like everyone's like, what just happened?
He's thirsty.
I'm like, cut the brake. I'm like, maybe his car had some overheating issues and he wanted to get off track. I don't know. Like,
so diplomatic.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could never do that. I'm like, look at this fucker.
Yeah. So that was probably a Matt Field story. But
that's funny.
Yeah,
dude, we got a couple of DMs of people that like. I guess because of course every FD driver has a couple of cult following people. Yeah. So this one guy heard the story, and in the moment. The moment about the trailer story, it wasn't even about Matt Field. It was like one of his crew members was wasted, right? Yeah. And like, dude, Dawson will tell you, I'm the first person that will try and get into a confrontation. I was raised around 3 brothers. I'm like that, And so when he told me that story, it got me fired up, and I was like, I wish a motherfucker comes stepping up on my trailer, Like, it made me so mad. And so he posted it, and dude, there was like 35 comments of people being like, yeah, Matt Field would beat the shit out of you. I was like, this story doesn't involve Matt Field. Yeah. It was hilarious, man.
That's the thing is like all this stuff, like these are things that happened. It's not like we're changing the story. Something that happened. Because I mean, the reality is like, and I've had situations too where I've seen my team get upset about like a call or a situation or like something happened. And I'm like, dude, just move on. Like, what is that going to gain you? Like, you can be all the upset you want.
Yeah, but they're still going to keep the
Let's
call.
just go back and set up again and do it again. Like, go out like
Attaboy.
You got a call you don't like. Why are you sitting there like steaming about it?
Right.
Like, you can be emotional about it and like be upset, but like move on. Like, we're gonna bounce back. Like, we'll figure it out. It doesn't matter. Like, don't stress on this like negative energy. It's not gonna
I say it all the time. Don't fucking the negative shit. Fuck that shit.
Nah, I feel that. All right,
but sometimes you get upset. You know, I get it. We're all human. We're all Hooman.
Shameless plug.
Damn, we should have done that. We should have done that through the whole thing since we don't have the sound cord.
Oh yeah. Anyways, where do you think FD could, as far as whether it's production or just how the event goes, where could they do better for the driver's standpoint?
From the driver's standpoint, I think so. Here's a funny, interesting thing, right? Like, FD has over 65 million people watching a year, right? That's like the stats that go out, like 65 million like views, and that's just on like, I think, the live stream and then their social media and all this other stuff. Most drivers don't even have 1 million followers. Right. Most drivers, like even the top drivers, like some of them have 300,000. Like I think Adam LZ has the most with like 1 million or 2 million.
Yeah, he's a little.
Whatever.
I think he's
I don't know what
over
it
2
is, but
million
it's
now.
high, right? Most of the prospect guys have, you know, in the tens of thousands at best. Like the top, except Amanda, she's got crazy. I don't know. She
stays really
she's got
active on
following,
social
right?
media.
So like she's killing it. That's the easiest thing for us to like I almost like want to tell Jared, be like, hey, everyone go like all the drivers right now. like just go follow every single driver right now. Like just make a point.
Fuck what's going on here.
Yeah, like just take the time, because if 1 million of them did it, everyone would have 1 million followers, and then that would be so much easier to go get like a sponsor. Be like, I got 1 million followers. I can do that. And that would be like so easy.
Did you? I know you don't follow the podcast. You probably follow the podcast. But
I watch snippets, but like I don't watch podcasts.
We have
in
this
general.
one where it's like a cut in, and it's somebody is following. It's who, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Osbo and Odie. So Odie is like on Osbo, and they're like this, and Jared says, Odie surging up, and then he stops for a second, and then he raffles off like, you know, every single sponsorship title that Osbo has. And so I am really not I like competitive drifting, but I like to have it on in the background while I'm like cooking or something. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like an armchair guy, right? Okay. So like for me, I hear that, I'm not even looking, and I'm like, how the fuck is that guy not biased, right? So he fucking makes a reel and posts it on Facebook or Instagram. And dude, the Jared guy comments and goes, first time viewer, first time commenter. You know, and I was like I do most of the
Jared's
comments.
funny.
Yeah, I'm sure he's nice, dude. But like the way that it got cut up is I was just like, for like 10 minutes, I was like, I don't even know what to say to that. You know, like, he got me, you know? I was like, whoops.
That's the thing, like people don't realize, like, let's say Jared said something that like was a flub, right? Like, dude, he's talking for 6 hours.
You're just pulling shit out of your ass, bro.
He's gonna make a mistake. Like, give the guy a break. Like, have you ever tried announcing? Like, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Never mind. I'm not gonna bring that one up on YouTube.
It's not easy. I remember one time I like tried. I'm like, nope, here. Like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
That's a good question, actually. What is the track in FD that viewers like, but FD drivers don't like? What's the worst track? Or the one that you're like, fucking gotta go do this one?
That I've driven.
Yeah.
They
don't have to run it
track.
still, but you know, like which one is the one that it's like, you know?
I'm trying to think. That's interesting.
Because I feel like everybody likes Oh man, I'm drawing a blank.
I didn't like
Everyone
Seattle.
loves to see Irwindale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
Seattle,
I don't
too.
really know much about Irwindale driving because I only kind of drifted like a quarter of the track. So,
Right.
whatever.
But all
It
the
could just be like dealing with
I
the
don't
pits and stuff like that.
I just don't like that thing. But I only drove it kind of in the wet and like
oh yeah, that'll make you
it was
like
not like super fun.
Is it just like
I mean, I drove it in
unnatural?
the dry a little bit, but it was like a lot of wet and dry. Like it was mix and match. I didn't love it, but I don't know
enough to
that
get you the
fans
feel.
really love it. I think Orlando, I don't particularly like.
Really?
It's just
What is it with Orlando that you don't
all
like
right.
it
Look at
about
qualifying. Why are all the scores the same? It's because it's the
You're
same.
fucking
Like
wrong there.
it's like super simple. Like
There's
not.
no.
it? Yeah,
There's
I
no
like how they
variable,
thought adding
like-
that little hump in the center was gonna make it like
What do they add?
A little
hump, or it just
better.
always has a hump.
no, they added a
I don't
little
think they
jump in
added
the
it.
center.
No, it's always had a jump.
I've never noticed it. A few
Yeah,
years
no, I
ago.
noticed. we jumped.
fuck.
Like,
He was
it-
there.
Yeah,
I'm the dumbass.
it's been
My
jumping.
bad.
Yeah, I don't think they added. I think it's just, maybe they did something to patch it and it made it worse. I don't remember.
It
But
seems like it's gnarly as fuck.
It is,
now.
and it's always been there. But like, what I'm saying is like Orlando, and I'm glad we're not going back.
Yeah.
So that's awesome for Prospect, But
There you go. That's the worst track. He's just like happy
it's
that he's not going back.
It's also hot.
Yeah.
There's fire ants everywhere. So like our pits are just fire ant. Like we literally like every like
Hell no.
like we just and we're flooded when it rains. Like the like marshy. Like we're half in grass. Like it's just nothing about that track
Damn.
was fun for us. Except like the minutes we're on the track. But
Sure.
it's just like
Everything else sucks though.
it's I'm not a
All right.
huge fan.
That makes sense.
That's fair. Well, where do you for you furthering your FD career? Where is it that you think you should probably improve? What's your next step?
Mopal, baby.
No, I
That's 30
think
years backwards.
I mean, I guess drifting career is one question, and then FD career is another. I think for my FD program, it's really just focusing more on the social media. Like it's not something that I spend as much time, like because it takes time and money, to really do it. So that's something like we're shifting towards this year. Like we're gonna do a little bit better. And if we pick up the right sponsors, that'll go even further. So that's it. And then in drifting in general, I've been focusing more on like just kind of like driving to my like next level. Like get like I don't know if I'm the only one, but like when I drive, I always like know like what I can do, right? And then I'm like, well, what if I just do a little more? And then like I push that until I can't. And then I keep pushing until I can, right? And then once you start doing it, like it's something like I feel, right? Like when I do a solid run, like I'm at a zen. Like it's like it's like that like
That's a different
like,
type of euphoria.
This.
Get
Like
to reset the clock.
Yeah, like you're just so like you're on a personal high, like doing that, and
Dopamine
that's kind of why like I like drifting, right? Because it's a very challenging sport that doesn't have to be like you can drive like 10 cars back and it's easy. Or you can like try to like skate someone's door and like barely like not hit them or scrub them, and that becomes really hard. And I want to get to the point where that's not hard, right?
It's
Like
just second nature.
when that part, like, because like before linking a track was hard,
Right.
now it's not.
Right.
So I'm hoping like as I get better, that part like I'm curious, like James Dean, like is it like that's easy now. I can just, jam up on someone and like touch their door the whole track and it's super easy. I don't know.
man's
Like
an
if I can
animal.
get to that point where that's like, the easiest thing, that's cool. But that's not where I'm at yet.
That's fair. No, that was a good
That was
answer.
a good answer. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll let you take this next little.
Okay, so
This
we're gonna
is
talk
all
about
you.
we got to talk about bicycles.
Oh, snaps.
All right. So the audience, like all 7,000 people in the audience, I think are like, or I don't think you actually think this now because I've told you before, but for those who don't know, I don't actually hate cyclists. Okay. It's a joke. Okay. My girlfriend is a cycling instructor. That's not a fucking joke. She works at Garage Bar and Bike. I'm serious. But Hooman and me have gone back and forth a couple times on the internet about cycling. So how did you get into cycling? That part is serious.
I'm not
serious.
a cyclist. I just bike.
Okay, well, I don't know what it's called.
No, but I mean, like,
I wasn't trying to say that to make fun of you.
But like, I'm not the guy dressed up in like cycle gear and like
you're not the one taking up the whole right lane.
Like, I got an e-bike that I bike, and I like to go on like 30 or 40 mile like trips, and like it's a good workout, and it's like a good way that I get to see like the city from a bike perspective. I stick to like bike paths, but there's sections that I have to drive on the street. So the parts that I have to drive on the street, I don't want to drive on the street, but I have to get there. Otherwise, I have to put it on like a truck or something. And like, I don't like, then I won't do it.
At least you're not the guy.
I won't do it as often. So like, I like to like mountain, like I got it's a mountain e-bike that like I take
those look fun.
To like Percy Warner or Shelby Bottoms. And it's like almost a 40-mile round trip. Like I drive from my house.
That's a long time.
It's fun though. Like, but I can do it in like the 40-mile version can be done in about 2 hours. So like I'm booking it.
Yeah.
So like I'm doing like 20 miles an hour on average.
Damn. Yeah. So while Dawson is away and he can't stop me or cut my mic, I say that at 100,000 subscribers, everyone can get a video of me riding a bicycle.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I'm making a meme. They love that shit. You know they like that shit. You know, have you ever watched my story on Instagram?
Like what story?
Like, you know how you watch stories on Instagram?
Yeah.
It's always just like bikes crashing.
Oh, I saw one that you posted where the guy was in Russia and like just started slowing down and like
crashed. And I always get like some fake ass rating, you know. And like I've had like mixed reactions, mostly positive. People think it's funny, you know. Because dude, growing up, I used to have a bicycle, and I used to like. One time my dad and me and my brother Josh jumped over 2 lawnmowers and like something, you know what I'm saying? Like I rode bicycles when I was a kid. Yeah. So the joke is that like, I don't like cyclists. And so you post it on your story and I always give it like a rating. So it'll be like, there was this one video, this guy tries to hop off it was pretty high. It was probably like a 7-foot drop. And he tries to wheelie and then hop, but I guess his back brake doesn't work because it just goes like this. Oh. Dude, he falls, and I got like 10 messages because I said 6 out of 10 self-inflicted, and like, dude, all these people got so mad. They're like one person was like, my cousin rides bicycles. I don't think this is funny. I was like, dude, I don't hate your cousin. I don't know you. You know. Anyway, yeah. So 100,000 subscribers, I'll ride a bicycle. And if Hooman will hang out with me, I'll ride it on his 40-mile trip, which will be hilarious because I smoke cigarettes. And so I'll be like,
I'll let you have the e-bike.
What's that? Is it like
I'll be following behind on my bird scooter.
What's an e-bike?
Electric bike.
Yeah.
Oh, so what you pump?
But it's pedal, it's assist. So,
okay.
So like you can turn it up all the way. It won't go 40 miles if you turn it up all the way.
Right. But so does it charge as you pump?
No.
So you have to plug it up and then you...
Yeah, it's like a battery. But,
that would be cool though if they had like a friction
40 miles
deal.
if you like don't use your... Like you gotta really...
you gotta be able to do it.
It's like an assist. So because the bike is heavy. Like my bike's like 75 pounds. So,
damn.
So like if I turn it off, it's like really hard. Okay. But I usually put it on like eco or like level 1. It depends what I'm doing. Like if I'm just trying to like zoom, you know, like if I take it to the track, like sometimes we use it as a pit vehicle.
Sure.
It's fun because like you can just
that's pretty cool.
Jet across the pits like fast and no one gives you shit because it's a bike.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah.
I've got a refurb bird scooter that I use for a pit vehicle.
Yeah. Scooters are cool. A lot of people do scooters. They take up like no space in the trailer. So that's something we're maybe gonna get some because the bike takes up space. But it's fun.
Did you go to a fucking like IndyCar event and they've all got ruckuses, like a fleet of ruckuses?
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
All right. So the other bonus topic is
we already kind of talked about him.
Yeah, we kind of talked about Jonathan Cash. I mean, do you have any other you got any like words of kindness for Jonathan Cash?
We got to rematch our race, you know. So there's a foot race.
Okay.
Oh my God, I remember this. Yes.
I'm still training. When I feel like I'm ready and he feels like he's not, I'm going to challenge him again. Because he won, I think it was 2 tires.
Drop it in the comments if you want to see him do that.
Yeah,
We'll
I
nag it
lost
on.
2 tires, so that was like back. But those were Achilles tires, so it wasn't as much.
Yeah.
They were a little less, but it still was expensive. I didn't like losing that.
Hell yeah.
I was not happy about it.
All right. Well, the last question is, do you think Nate, me, is a jackass on the internet?
I think you can be interpreted as a jackass.
It's so diplomatic. It's okay if you call me an asshole.
Yeah.
They know.
No, because it's, the reality is like, it's a perspective, right? Like you post something, a lot of people take someone's post and you're like, expand it onto, that's what that person thinks. And that's an absolute. And it's like, I mean,
not really.
You don't know what, there's no context, right? And that's kind of the problem with the internet is there's no context. Like, it's like if someone takes an excerpt out of this podcast and just takes a blip and they say, I don't know, something I might have said that maybe pissed someone off, and be like, look, he's a jerk. And it's like, well, what were we talking about? Or like, did we expand on the topic? What was the full thing? Like, it might've been, I might've said something and we didn't even go into all the details about what had happened. Right. And now I'm a jerk. I don't know, I agree. So I think you could be interpreted as a jackass for sure. You're not diplomatic.
He does it on purpose though, so it's okay.
I do it on purpose.
For sure.
We shoot for that.
I do have like 5,000 people on Facebook, and the reason why is because I am controversial. That's the joke.
For sure.
So, all right. Well, I think that's about it, right?
All right. Yeah. Well, if you aren't subscribed, go ahead or check down below the video. If the subscribe button is not pressed, go ahead and press that and grab the merch. Support the podcast. We still got Black Friday and Christmas merch out so far. I think it stops by this video. Sorry. Anyways.
Yeah, but you have to go buy my the shirt that says "Imagine caring how another man spends his money."
We'll throw the picture up on the screen.
Me and Dawson have a bet. We're going to see how it goes.
Anyways, that's it for this one. We appreciate you guys. Where can they find you at?
At I'm Only Hooman on everything except TikTok. It's I'm Only Hooman Drift, but
you have a TikTok? I didn't know that.
Just recently. It's growing. I got like 200 followers.
Oh, you're crushing.
Yeah.
Crushing.
So, but everything else, I'm Only Hooman Drift. Like, I am only Hooman with 2 O's. Human.
Well, it'll be.
Yeah.
We'll put it
in the description and all that stuff. So.
Here. One of these.
One of the things. Anyways, that's it for this one. We'll see you guys in the next one every Sunday. Remember that. Bye.
Peace.
Later.